Hello. Okay, so hopefully you have watched the duck song and you've got some inspiration, and we're going to try and make our own animation of the duck song using Scratch today. So I'm going to model mine very closely on the duck song, but obviously if you want to make your own version, and that is fantastic. So let's get going. First thing I'm going to do is get a backdrop to use. So I'm going to click on backdrops, and I'm going to load in a backdrop that already exists. So I'm going to load from here, choose a backdrop, and just choose something that I think is suitable. So your story could take place anywhere you wanted, from a city to space or anything. So I'm going to go for nice and simple. What do I fancy? Not the moon, not the desert, not inside. Let's go for let's go for the boardwalk. That's a nice one. Okay, cool. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for some sprites that I'm going to use for my characters. So I know I've got two characters. I've got the duck, and then I've got the person that runs the lemonade stall. So I do believe that in Scratch there is a duck. Let's just check him out. There he is. Perfect. We can use him. And then the other person can be whatever we like. So we might use a person. I might use Abby. Might use Avery. Let's use Avery. Let's go for it. Okay. Now I also want a lemonade stand. I don't want Scratch, so let's get rid of Scratch. And I'm going to make a lemonade stand. So I don't think there is a lemonade stand sprite or a stand. Let's just have a quick look. Where would it be? No, I don't think there's going to be anything. Let's have a quick scroll through, make sure I'm not missing anything. Looking for sort of a table. Can't see it. No, okay, that's fine. We're going to make our own then. So we're going to go back and we're going to paint a table. So I'm going to very quickly draw up my lemonade stand. So nice big purple section for the front. Avery can stand behind it. I'm not sure about the purple and the purple. I'm going to change the colour to yellow for lemonade. Makes sense. Lemons are yellow. And we can put lemonade, not in yellow but in black, on the front. Okay. We could even dress it up a little bit and we could say it was 50p for a lemonade. Cheap lemonade. Okay. So that's a nice, quick, easy stand that we've made. Let's make sure that we don't go off the edge. Cool. So, in our animation, we got we want Avery to be behind the lemonade stand. So first thing I'm going to do is get some code and make sure that the lemonade stand goes to the front. So that is in looks. So your sprites are in layers, and the ones at the front show up in front of the ones that are behind. Simple as that. So if I go to looks on the lemonade, I should be able to go to the front layer. So we can just start this off in events and say, right, when this animation starts, you go to the front. Okay, perfect. Right. Now, when we do this animation, everything's got to be done in a sequence. And we're actually going to use broadcasts to do this. So if you've done my other tutorials, know that a broadcast is a secret silent message that the computer sends out and all the sprites can hear it, and we can tell sprites to listen out for a message as to what to do next. So for Avery, actually, what I want to do is just rotate the other way. So I'm going to say direction I want you to face is this way, but obviously she's upside down if I do that. So I'm going to change her rotation style to just left right, and so she's just facing that way. Perfect. Okay. So in our animation, we want our duck friend to start off the stage. So I'm going to move him to where I want to do, which is about there. I've moved him as far left as I can get him. And then what I'm going to say to the duck is, right, when we start this, I would like you to go to that location. And we'll do the same for Avery. So we'll say, can you please go to this XY at the start? Okay, so we start our animation, so they both go to the places that they should start on. Now, I'm then going to get our duck to move a number of steps towards the lemonade stand. So I'm going to change on the x-axis, so that's going left to right. So he's going positive, our duck's going positive x, so we're going to move a positive number on the x-axis. If I wanted to move left, it would be a negative number. So we're going to say change x by, so let's change x by 10. Now changing x by 10, if I click on it, it will show you what it does. It's a little hop along like that, so it's a little hop. So it's not the whole thing, and I'm going to need to do it a number of times. Now I don't know what that number is, so let's just experiment. Let's try repeat this 10 times. Now if I do this, you'll see what happens. Okay, so he moves along with that, but he's not moved quite far enough. So I'm going to move, let's say 15, try again. Perfect, 15 works perfectly for me. It might be a slightly different number for you, but that works so far. So once we get there, we're going to need to say, hey, have you got any grapes? So we're going to go to looks, which is where say is. Hey, have you got any grapes? Okay, so here we go. Fantastic. Now it's time for our lemonade seller Avery to respond. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to events, and I'm going to go to broadcast message 1, except I'm going to make a new message which is just going to be called number 1, because this is my first message. So I know that if I put them in number order, then I'll be able to keep track of it. So this is my first bit of code, but it ends with broadcast number 1. Now if I go to Avery, Avery's going to do absolutely nothing, not going to move at all until she receives broadcast 1. When she receives broadcast 1, she is going to stop and she's going to say the response to what the duck has said. So we're going to say, no, we just sell lemonade, but it's cold and it's fresh. Now it's really good when you do an animation like this to keep checking by running it over and over again that you're on the right tracks. So we know the first bit works, and then you can see that broadcast kicks in immediately and Avery responds. And then we want Avery to say something else, so we're going to say, can I get you a glass? Okay, let's check that is working again. Okay, now we want the duck to talk again now. So we finished Avery's bit, so we want to go back to the duck. So we're going to go to events again. We're going to get broadcast, and it will say broadcast 1 because that was the last one we did, but we want a new broadcast. We want a broadcast 2. So we put 2 in there, and then we go back to the duck. And so the duck is now going to listen out for broadcast number 2. And when the duck hears this, it's going to say, no thanks, I'll pass. And then he's going to waddle away. So we're going to need to do the reverse of what we did to come onto the screen. So we're going to need to repeat change x by -10 this time. So let's get that. Let's get repeat. We're going to go 15 times. And we're going to change x by -10 this time. So the exact opposite of what we did before. Before it was 10, now it's -10. Let's give that a go, see what it looks like. So it comes on. Got any grapes? Oh no. Right, so I think something went wrong there, didn't it? Something went wrong. Let's just check it again. Got any grapes? Can I get you a glass? So something's gone wrong with Avery's. So let's check because now can you see I've got 2 different blocks here. I've got say this and I've got say this for 2 seconds. Because this one hasn't got a 2-second section, it just says it instantly and then moves on. So let's change that for a block with 2 seconds, and we can get rid of that. So I just copied the code across. Okay, let's try again. Okay, got any grapes? No, just eliminated. It's cold and it's fresh. Can I get you a glass? No thanks, I'll pass. And he waddles away. Now, did you see he went backwards there? Our duck went backwards. So we could actually improve this. So we could do the same thing we did with Avery, and we're going to just turn left and right. And then we're going to add in, where's the block I want? I want to point towards, is that the one I want? No, point in direction. So just before he walks away, I'm going to just point in direction, and you can see that I can change it so he points in this direction. Right, what that means, I might want to at the very start of my animation say point in, yeah. So they're going to, at the start of the animation he points right, and then when he walks off he should point left. Let's just check that has worked. Got any grapes? No lemonade, cold and fresh. Can I get you a glass? No thanks, I'll pass. And he turns around and walks off. Brilliant. So then our second day starts and we get a similar sort of thing. So we can actually carry on this bit of code, can't we? So that he's walked off, we might want to put a wait in here. So we might want to say, right, we're going to wait 1 second before the next day starts, and then we will start the next day when what we're going to do is actually duplicate this code, because our duck's going to come back onto the screen and do the same thing again. He's going to ask. So let's watch that, make sure he comes back all right. Okay, and then comes back. Perfect. So that's day 2 started. Right now, oh, I've got myself in a loop there because I've got broadcast 1 at the bottom. Now, I actually don't want this to be broadcast 1 because we received broadcast 2. So this next broadcast will need to be broadcast 3. Okay, so at broadcast 3, so our ducks come back, ask the question. It's time for Avery to respond, but Avery doesn't respond in the same way on the second day. Our lemonade seller doesn't say the same thing on the second day. So I'm going to wait. When I receive broadcast 3, I'm going to say something different. So when I receive broadcast 3, I'm going to say, no, like I said yesterday, we just sell lemonade. Okay. So no, like I said yesterday, we only sell lemonade. Okay, right, and then we'll have another bit of speech that says, why not give it a try? Okay, let's just see that run. So keep checking that it's working okay. Okay, I think I'll pass. That's day 1. Day 2, got any grapes? No, we only sell lemonade. Okay, why not give it a try? And now we want the duck to talk again. So I've done broadcast 3, so now I want to go to broadcast 4. I need to send out that message. A new message, broadcast 4. And then back to our duck, who's going to say, when I receive broadcast 4, so you've got to keep this really clear idea in your head of what broadcast number you're on and keep them in order. So I've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, and I know that when I switch between which character's talking, I have to have a new broadcast. And this helps keep it in order. So the duck is going to say, goodbye, good day. Oh, Mr. D in my goodbye. Goodbye, good day. Okay. Right, so what might be useful is if you plan out on maybe a piece of paper just what broadcast you're going to have before you start even making your code. That might be really useful. Let's just check this works. Right, now I want him to walk off. Now I'm going to be clever and I'm going to reuse the code I've already done. So I've already made this code, so I'm going to borrow this block of code, put it on here, and I don't want all of it though. So I want the bit where he turns around, so that's this bit, and I want him to walk off. Then we'll need to wait 1 second and walk back on. And actually, we can leave all of that because we want it to come back on and ask for some grapes. Then we're going to get that new message. We're going to go broadcast 5, and we're ready to go back to Avery. Okay, so I'm already building up quite a lot of code here. Now I'm going to stop there because I want you guys to come up with your own. You can either finish the whole of the duck song. You could make your own version, so it might not be grapes, it might not be a duck, but have a similar sort of thing, but make an animation of it. That'd be really cool. And for a real challenge, there is an extra tab here called sounds. And what you can do is you can actually, if you've got a microphone on your computer, you can actually record a sound. So instead of, you can click on this record, and you could actually click this record button and make your own voiceover for the animation. So I could say, have you got any lemonade? Okay, and I can cut it down. I can play it. Have you got any lemonade? There we go. Cut it right down. Save it. Awesome. Right, so I've got this recording number 1, which I'm going to call duck. Right, and I can go back to my code, and I can actually say, right, sounds, play duck until done. So every time it says, have you got any lemonade? Oh, not lemonade, grapes. Oh no, I'm asking for lemonade. Let me try and record that again, shall we, guys? Have you got any grapes? There we go. Cut it down so it's not too long. Okay, let's try. This is grapes, is what we want. See, the duck's got me confused now. Grapes, going to go to our code. Right, so when it says that, I'm also going to get it to start the sound grapes. So let's just put this in each time it asks for grapes and see if this works. Have you got any grapes? Okay, now obviously you could also then do the voices for Avery, the shopkeeper, as well. So I've just done the duck. Have you got any grapes? And I've only done the 1 line, but you could do it for all the lines, which would be a really cool animation. And obviously you could also add in music and everything if you wanted to. So you could do the full animation. Have you got any grapes? If you wanted to. So I'm going to stop there. I think that's plenty to help you understand what we're going to do. Best of luck. You can either submit a screenshot of some of your code. You can have lots of code, or you can submit the whole Scratch file if you like to. Either is great. But I hope you enjoyed doing it, and hopefully you're going to see some really creative ideas. Look after yourselves, guys, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.